All right, let's just get right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're digging into something pretty much all of us have experienced at least once, right? The Great American Road Trip. I mean, it's the ultimate symbol of adventure and freedom. But today, well, we're going to look at the much darker side of that freedom. We're pulling directly from 3 completely distinct, real-world case files that reveal just how uniquely vulnerable we actually become the second we leave our safety nets behind. Seriously, these are some chilling, real-life accounts that will absolutely change how you view your next highway adventure. Here's what we're covering today. First, we'll talk about the core vulnerability of travel. Then we'll unpack 3 case files: the Deltopia stalker, the fake officers, and the helpful mechanic. And finally, we'll wrap up with some absolutely vital lessons from the road. Okay, Section 1. 3 road trip nightmares, the vulnerability of travel. So think about the open road. It represents this ultimate freedom, sure, but it also completely strips away your usual defenses. I mean, when you're traveling, you're separated from your community, your familiar surroundings, and basically all your usual situational awareness. You're in unfamiliar territory, you're probably carrying valuables, and let's face it, you are very easily identifiable as an outsider. And as we're going to see in the source material today, this combination of complete isolation and high visibility, it makes travelers highly attractive targets for opportunistic predators. It's like a giant neon sign. Let's move to Section 2, the Deltopia stalker, and the very real danger of digital footprints. So our first account comes from a college student who drove down with a packed car of friends to UC Santa Barbara. They were heading to this massive campus party known as Deltopia, right? The plan was simple: just crash on the floor of the driver's sister's apartment. But things took a really weird turn when this uninvited, kind of problematic acquaintance named Amir seemingly materialized out of nowhere on the street. Now, Amir was known for clinging to social circles, always seeking validation, so the group reluctantly lets him use the bathroom at the apartment. But instead of leaving, he walks right past the driver's sister and states flatly, "I'm staying here." Just completely bypasses any normal social boundaries and tries to force his way right into their safe space. Well, the driver, his name is Hunter, was absolutely livid. He kicks Amir out, tells him straight up, you aren't welcome, you crossed a line. But Amir does not leave quietly. He literally stands outside the apartment door, aggressively arguing his way back in for 20 full minutes. Can you believe that? 20 minutes before finally taking the hint. But here is the truly terrifying part. The group later realized that Amir hadn't just magically found them on the street. The driver had unknowingly been sharing his iPhone location with him. Another friend checked their phone and actually saw Amir's blue location dot hovering directly on top of their apartment before he sped away. He had literally used their digital footprint to stalk them. And this is exactly where the digital stalking turns into a physical nightmare. Sometime well after midnight, the narrator wakes up to this huge crash, shattered balcony glass. Someone had thrown a massive rock right through the sliding door. As he creeps into the living room, he sees the closet door handle jiggling. Amir had used his location access to come back and break in. The narrator smartly backs away, wakes up his friend, and when they come back out, the closet door is wide open. The friend reaches inside the dark closet and finds a massive kitchen knife left behind. Amir had been standing right behind that door, armed in the dark, intending to do some real harm. Just think about that. Because of a simple location sharing setting, a fun road trip almost ended in a fatal tragedy. All right, Section 3, the fake officers, a highway imposter. This next case takes us back to April 1996 in Texas. 3 military friends, fresh out of basic training, are taking a day trip to Austin in an SUV. They're on this desolate stretch of highway when they get pulled over by a dark-colored Tahoe, acting like an undercover police vehicle. But the narrator, who is trained in quick situational observation, notices some major red flags right away. Instead of a standard uniform, this guy is wearing all black tactical gear with completely unreadable patches. And instead of walking up to the driver's window like a normal traffic stop, he stands behind the SUV. He's actively analyzing their cargo through the rear window, running their license plate, scrutinizing their bumper stickers. I mean, it was incredibly brazen. So the crucial turning point in this whole standoff happens next. After sitting in his vehicle for an uncomfortably long time, the imposter steps out again, but this time he's got 2 other men with him. They walk up to the driver's window, point to a US military bumper sticker on the back of the SUV, and ask if her father is in the military. The driver just laughs. She says she is the one in the military, points to her 2 passengers, and fires back, "Them too." And instantly, you guys, the imposter's body language just stiffens. This weird, heavy silence falls over them. He looks at his 2 guys in the back, looks at the driver, tells her to drive more slowly, and immediately speeds away. The really chilling reality of that encounter didn't actually set in until a week later. The narrator is back on base, watching the local news, and sees this horrifying report. A man and a woman had been robbed, murdered, and dumped in a ditch along a highway just outside San Angelo. And the vehicle found abandoned near the scene? A black Tahoe. Police confirmed it had been stolen months earlier, several states away. The narrator realized right then and there that asserting their active military status and having 3 trained individuals in the car made them way too difficult of a target. That simple bumper sticker and a 3-word quote quite literally saved their lives from predators hunting on the highway. Let's move on to Section 4, the helpful mechanic, the vulnerability exploit. So this story begins with a solo driver traveling from New Jersey down to Texas. His car breaks down on this totally empty road near Arkansas. Out of nowhere, a guy in a white pickup pulls up, posing as a helpful mechanic. But when the mechanic asks to borrow the driver's phone to call for a part, the second that unlocked phone is handed over, he pulls a gun. Now, losing a wallet and an unlocked phone on day 1 is bad enough, right? But that physical theft was just the beginning. 6 months later, the victim starts getting mail for fraudulent credit lines. And then, weeks after that, the nightmare escalates from financial ruin to full-blown medical identity theft, with someone receiving emergency hospital care in Georgia under the victim's name. To put the initial financial damage into perspective, it was almost immediate. Over $1,000 was rapidly racked up on a newly opened Best Buy credit card. And the crazy part is, the charges were originating from a random town in Tennessee. The victim realized that because his social security card was in the stolen wallet and his unlocked phone gave total access to his digital life, this roadside predator literally had everything he needed to completely assume his identity across multiple states. But the victim didn't just sit back. Frustrated by the lack of initial police progress, he basically turns into a relentless citizen detective. He sets up Google alerts for his name in the target cities, he monitors his credit daily, he meticulously scans Craigslist for the items that were purchased fraudulently, and it actually works. He finds the power tools bought at that Best Buy listed for sale in Jackson, Tennessee. So he contacts the seller, arranges a public meetup with cash, and then hands the entire operation over to the Jackson Police Department. When the perpetrator showed up and saw the patrol cars at the sting, he sped off, crashed his truck into a ditch, and immediately confessed. He ended up giving up a whole ring of 3 men who had been specifically targeting isolated drivers across southern interstates. Absolutely wild. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Lessons from the Road, the Anatomy of a Nightmare. Okay, so what do we actually do with all this? The most valuable part of this explainer is how we can apply these hard-learned lessons to our own lives. First, audit your phone's location sharing settings, like right now. The Deltopia stalker proved that a forgotten digital tether can lead a predator right to your bedroom closet. Second, always beware of unmarked authority figures exhibiting non-standard behavior. If a traffic stop feels off, if the uniform is missing badges, or if they're, analyzing your car instead of actually talking to you, trust your gut. And finally, never, ever hand an unlocked device to a stranger. As we saw with Helpful Mechanic, losing physical possession of an unlocked phone is basically the equivalent of handing over the master keys to your entire financial and medical identity. Seriously, I want you to take a moment today and actually check your device settings. Ask yourself, who has access to your location right now? Are there old acquaintances, random apps, or forgotten contacts who can see your little blue dot moving down the highway? The open road is an incredible thing, but as these source files clearly show us, maintaining your situational awareness, both physical and digital, is the absolute only way to ensure your next adventure doesn't become someone else's cautionary tale. Stay safe out there, guys, and stay vigilant.